So guys, our next topic will be on derivative of a function. So for today, we'll just try to look into the derivative using, or we will just define the derivative. We look into the analytical definition, and then later on I'll show you how the derivative is defined using our geometrically. Okay, so geometric interpretation and derivatives later on also. Okay, so when we say derivative, so we'll go to the, so we'll try to show you the definition. So this is the analytical definition of your derivative. Sabi dito that the derivative of f or the derivative of the function is said to be uh, is given by f prime of x, where f prime of x is equal to the limit. Meron pa rin dito, sorry. So is equal to the limit of the function wherein it's the function is said to be f of x plus delta x all over minus f of x all over delta x if this limit exists. So ang sabi dito, so that's why if you would notice, I aim or we started with the notion of limits first before we proceed with the derivatives kasi the definition of derivatives is basically came from limits. Okay, so if we don't know the notion of limits, hirapan tayong intindihin yung definition na to. So we can actually look into this definition by doing it geometrically. So let's start first geometrical definition, and then later on we'll try to use this definition in how to find for the derivatives later on. Okay, so geometrically, so later on mapapansin natin that this one is also or will tell us that the derivative will serve as the slope of the tangent line. Okay, so paano yun? So if you consider the derivatives, so you have a function, okay? So this is my function y equals f of x, okay? So if I have an x here, for example, this is my x, okay? If I get another x coordinate, delta x away from x, kunwari this is delta x. Okay, so ganun siya kalayo. So this one will be x plus delta x. Tama ba? So kunwari ito 1. So kunwari ito 5. So this would be 1 plus 5. So ito yung magiging 6. Diba? So this distance is delta x. And if you try to consider this point, ito ay magiging f of x. Diba? And then if I try to consider that point also, this one will serve as the point f at x plus delta x. Okay. So if I consider the slope of this line segment passing through these 2 points, okay, kunwari itong line na to, using these 2 points, remember, if you try to find the slope, can you hear me by the way? Mukha ba akong inaantok?
Yes, sir.
Okay lang?
Clear naman po yung
Yes
voice,
po,
sir.
sir.
Okay.
Medyo mahina lang yung boses niya, sir.
Medyo mahina. Okay, so lakas-lakasan nyo na lang yung volume nyo dyan. So if we try to consider this line segment here, di ba? And we try to get the slope of this line segment here. Di ba? If you remember, the slope of the line is equal to delta y over delta x, right? Tama ba yan? Okay, so yung y1 minus y2 equal over x1 minus x2 if you remember the slope of a line segment. So if you try to consider this, parang ito ay f at x plus delta x minus f of x all over yung x plus delta x minus x, di ba? So parang ito lang ay f at x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x, which is just this, di ba? Ito to. Okay? Can you follow?
Paano po yun,
So,
sir, kinapi lang?
ha?
Kinapi lang po yung sa equals po. Yung pag ako po nitong ano.
Okay, this one, ito na yung slope nito na tinatawag, slope nitong line segment na to, right? So basically, ang ginagawa natin dito is we are considering the slope of what we call the second line. Okay, itong line na to, okay, this line is what we call the second line. Okay, the second line is the line after the first. Char, joke lang yan. Second line is the line wherein it intersects in more than 2 points or in more than 1 point on the graph. Kasi tinawag na second line. So, kapag mapapansin nyo, si ito, slope ni second line, what is the definition is trying to do is to make your delta x approach 0. So, parang anong nangyari dito, itong dalawang point na to, if you make your delta x approach 0, what happens to this delta x? Papalapitin niya itong dalawa, di ba? So, papaliitin niya. So, ibig sabihin ito, parang papalapitin niya dito sa x or f of x yung point na to. So, notice, if you make your delta x approach 0, parang imagine niyo if I have, kunwari, enlarge ko yung graph. Kunwari po ganyan, di ba? Enlarge daw, hindi naman malaki. Yung point na ganito. Tapos, ang ginawa, if you consider that line, tapos, if I have another one, papalapitin ko, so para maging ganyan na yung line. Sorry. Medyo bad. Hanggang sa halos magdikit na yung dalawang point. Okay? So notice, what happened here is, yung ating, kapag pinaliit natin delta x or we make delta x equal 0, yung ating second line, or this one, this limit, actually makes or tries to sort of consider the slope now of your tangent line. Okay? So that's why if you try to consider this definition, you are now considering the tangent line. Did you get that? Nakuha
Yes,
po.
sir.
So parang basically the definition of your derivative is just telling us that from the second line or from the slope of the second line, if we make the delta x approach to 0, what we are now considering is the tangent line or the slope of the tangent line. So that's why if you try to consider the derivative, you are considering the slope of the tangent line. Is that clear? Malinaw po. So that's why later on, if we a direct application of the derivative is we consider that the derivative will serve as the slope of the tangent line. So if we try to get the derivative later on, notice that we can easily get the equation of the tangent line by considering the derivative to be the slope of the tangent line at any point on the graph. Okay, so yun ang direct application ni derivative. Okay, now, so ito namang, unless you have question with this explanation of the definition of your derivative geometrically, we can further proceed now with the definition and then how it is used to find for the derivative of a certain function. Okay, may tanong po ba? Ito parang pinakita lang na yung derivative ganun ang nangyayari. Okay, geometrically. Wala na?
Pero isa pang example.
Hindi example. Ito dapat maintindihan nyo lang na ang derivative, if you consider the definition that the derivative is just the slope of the tangent line. Okay? Nagaling lang siya sa, nagsimula siya sa slope ng second line tapos pinaliit natin si delta x kaya naging yung parang instead of from the slope of the second line, ang kinukuha na natin dito, when you proceed in getting the derivative, you are getting now the slope of the tangent line. Okay? Are you familiar with tangent lines, guys?
Yes po.
Yes po.
Okay, pag sinabi nating tangent line, parang kunwari, meron kang bilog, kunwari ito, bilog, di ba? If you try to put a flat one, a flat object, for example, mari itong, nakikita niyo ba yung ganito? So if you try to flat it, tawag nito, touch the circle, isa lang ang natatouch niya, parang ganon. Sa tangent line, parang ang nangyari, yung kung saan nagtatouch itong straight line natin dito sa circle, yun na yung point of tangency na tinatawag. Doon, basically, parang nag-meet yung dalawang points. Okay? So, yun ang ginagawa ni derivative. Okay, now, let's try to use this definition, but isusumpa nyo itong process na to later on. But for the purpose of para ma-appreciate natin yung mga susunod na topics, I need to show you this. Okay? So, let me erase. Okay, so wait lang. Ito ang bigger. So, ano nangyari dyan?
Nababalik na po.
Miss Aliyah.
May deposit po yan.
Mukhang nagtitinda pa si Miss Aliyah. Sige, maganda yan. Dual purpose tayo, guys. Okay, so let us now have, for example, I have very simple. Kunwari, f of x natin ay x squared plus 3, for example. Okay, so okay. So in your module, simple yung ating example doon, but let's have this. So f of x is equal to x squared plus 3. So if I try to find f at x plus delta x, ano mangyayari? Di ba pag f of x, x yung papalitan. Pero dahil ang nasa loob ay x plus delta x, para papalitan natin si x ng x plus delta x. Mangyayari, we have x plus delta x quantity squared plus 3. Nakuha ba to? Parang itong x na to, pinaltang ko lang nitong nasa loob ng ito, yung x plus delta x. Can you follow?
Yes po.
So,
Yes po.
Yes, sir.
so ay magiging x squared plus
Yes po.
2x delta x. Okay, plus delta x squared plus 3. Okay? Now, if I try to find now my f prime of x using the definition, this is now the limit. If you will remember the limit of f of x plus delta x minus f of x all over delta x as you make delta x approach to 0. Okay? So, palitan natin to. Nakuha na natin si f of x plus delta x. Ito na siya, di ba? So, this will be the limit of yung f of x plus delta x, which is x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared plus 3 minus yung ating, ito yung una. Pangalawa naman natin, we have x squared plus 3. Right? All over delta x. Nakuha ba to, guys? So, ang nangyari sa atin dito, guys, so if you would notice, ito si f of x plus delta x, which is this. Okay? Pinaltang ko lang ito nun, right? And then your f of x is x squared plus 3, so yun. And then delta x, kinopya ko lang. Can you follow?
Yes po.
Yes po, sir.
Yes, sir.
A little bit.
Okay, a little bit is not good, guys. So, uulitin natin ha. There's no such thing as a little bit knowledge in mathematics ha. Pag sinabi natin a little bit of knowledge, it's actually a palusot lang yan na hindi mo talaga naintindihan. So, malinaw ba to? Di ba parang ang ginawa lang natin dito, pinaltan lang natin. Ito ay ito lang siya. Di ba? dahil yung ating f of x plus delta x ay ito lang, di ba? Ito lang, oh. So, parang nagpalit lang tayo. Okay? Nakuha ba yan?
Yes po. Opo, sir.
Then this
Okay,
one is this. Ipinatang ko lang. Ito, the rest are the same, di ba? Limit x delta x approach 0 over delta x. Now, so if I try to simplify this will now be the limit now as delta x approach 0. Si x squared na minus is x squared, so mawala tong x squared na to. Tama? Ganun din si 3. Okay, so ang natira, 2x delta x plus delta x squared all over delta x. Okay? Can you follow?
Yes po.
Yes.
Yes po.
Yes po. If you would remember dun sa definition natin or sa lesson natin limits, pwede na tayo mag-substitute, di ba? Pag sinubstitute natin si delta x 0, 0 over 0, di ba? Pag 0 over 0, pwede tayo mag-cancel, di ba? Which we can actually simplify or ito, yung numerator, pwede natin i-factor out si delta x or divide natin si delta x. So matitira dito, limit as delta x approach 0. So mawala na itong isang delta x na yan. So matitira ay 2x plus delta x. Right? Can you follow? So when we substitute delta x now, so this will now be equal to 2x. So ibig sabihin, si f prime of x or the derivative of f is just simply 2x. Okay? Diba medyo mahaba yung pinatunguhan natin. Pero if you would, if you go to the definition or the theorems on getting the derivatives, this will just be very simple. Pero naintindihan yung process on how we use the definition in getting the derivative?
Opo, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Yes po.
So you find to get f prime, you first get f of x plus delta x, and then we perform the limit, and then you have that. But this method is very tiring or very lengthy o masyadong mahaba. Gawin mo lang siyang x cube. Masyado nang mahaba yung ating pagkuha nito. That's why they try to identify or use some theorems on how we can simplify the way we try to get the derivative. Okay? So yun yung magiging next topic natin, which is we now use or try to perform getting the derivative. Okay? By using some theorems. But before that, let us try to use this now in how to in identifying the equation of your tangent line. If you would remember, sinabi natin, so nakuha na natin si derivative, kunwari itong f prime of x natin na 2x. So if we try to get the equation of the tangent line, so gagamitin natin si f prime of x to get the to find the slope, you will be using this derivative. Malinaw? Hindi. Sige. Tuloy natin. So from here, we have this. So, kunwari, I tried to ask you to find the equation of your tangent line. Okay. So, for example, I tried to find the equation of the tangent line at the point say 1, 4. Okay. So to find the equation of the tangent line, so if you would remember, this is a parabola. If I try to roughly sketch this, 0, 3. Parang ito yung parabola niya, di ba? 1, 4 is somewhere here. I'll try to find the equation of this line. Okay, ito yung magiging tangent line na hinahanap natin. So if you try to find the equation of the tangent line, using this, ito na yung parang slope. Slope at any point. So to find the slope, at specifically at this point, so to find the slope passing through 1, 4, substitute na lang natin yung point na to dun sa derivative. So, dahil ang derivative natin 2x, so balikan lang natin yung x nung kung ano yung x meron tayo, which is 2, in this case, which is 1. So, ang slope ng tangent line natin dito will be 2. So, dahil meron na tayong point, and then we have the slope, so, recall natin si line natin. So, we just use the point slope form. Ang point slope form natin ay y minus y sub 1 equals m x minus x sub 1. Would remember this. So, ang y sub 1 natin dito ay 4. So, ito yung magiging x sub 1 natin. Ito yung y sub 1. Ito na yung m natin. Right? So, palitan na lang natin. We have y minus 4 equals 2 and then x minus 1. Okay? So, ito na yung magiging equation ni tangent line. Okay? So, using the derivative, which is this, we were able to identify the slope of the tangent line at this specific point. Okay? And then using this slope and this point, we were able to identify the equation of the tangent line. Okay? Malinaw? So basically, ang ginamit lang natin dito is the knowledge that we know that the derivative is the slope of the tangent line. And then we find the specific slope of the tangent line using the point. Okay? And then using this point slope form na tinatawag, we were able to identify the equation of the line. Okay? Is that understood? Kung isa pa.
Isa pa, sir.
Opo, sir.
Po.
Isa pa, sir. Isa pa, sir.
Isa pa po para mas
Sir,
malinaw.
isa pa po.
Isa pa po, sir.
Isa pa po. Isa pa po, sir.
Sige, let's have ano. Kunwari,
Isa pa po.
isa pang, sige, the same derivative lang tayo. Tapos mamaya, example pa tayo sa pang derivative. Kunwari, I have, sige, ibang ko na lang para another process. So, f of x natin, kunwari, squared plus 3x minus 5. Okay, let us try to find the equation of the tangent line passing through the point and para madali mag-simplify, 0, negative 5. Okay? So, paano natin kukunin si equation ni tangent line? So, basically, we first get the derivative. So, to get the derivative, we first get f of x plus delta x. Okay, so magiging x plus delta x squared plus 3 times x plus delta x minus 5. Okay? So, yung f of x plus delta x natin, okay, wait lang guys. Nagalit yung laptop ko, lobag. Let me just turn on my yun lang guys
Tapos,
sorry for the interruption. So, nangyari, this will now be x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared plus 3x plus 3 delta x minus 5. Okay? So, if it, naintindihan ba yung napakaganda kong sulat, guys? Hello?
Opo, sir.
Naiintindihan naman po.
So, if we try now to find f prime of x, this is now the limit of f of x plus delta x. So, kokopyahin ko na itong diretso, x squared plus 2x delta x plus delta x squared plus 3x plus 3 delta x minus 5 minus, okay, f of x. So that would be x squared plus 3x minus 5 all over delta x. Okay? So as we make delta x approach 0. Okay? So mag-cancel muna tayo. So x squared, nawala si x squared, nawala si 3x, nawala si negative 5, right? At tira na lang dito ay this will now be the limit of 2x delta x plus delta x squared plus 3 delta x all over delta x as we make delta x approach 0. Okay? So, factor natin si delta x. So, delta x, we have 2x plus delta x plus 3 all over delta x. Make delta x approach 0. So, cancel na ulit ito. So, ang natira na lang dito is the limit now of 2x plus delta x plus 3 all over 0. Or sorry, or over 1 as delta x approach 0. Okay? So, as delta x approach 0, so this will be 0. So, matitira natin dito ay 2x plus 2. So, mangyari dito, your f prime of x now, or the derivative will just be 2x plus 3. Okay? Malinaw?
Mali na, sir.
Malinaw
Po,
po.
sir. Malinaw po.
Okay na po, sir.
Okay po.
Hindi pa tayo tapos.
Yes,
Look
sir.
lang natin si derivative. So, we now get the equation of the tangent line. So, we now get the slope of the tangent line passing through 0, negative 5. Substitute natin dito sa derivative. So, this will be 2 times 0 plus 3. So, this will be 3. Okay? So, the equation now of your tangent line will be y minus yung y sa buwan natin which is negative 5 equals m natin ay 3, x sa buwan natin ay 0. Okay? So, yung tangent line natin will now be y plus 5 equals 3x. Or lipat natin sa kabila lahat. So, y minus 3x plus 5 equals 0. So, ito na yung magiging equation ng tangent line natin. Okay?
Yes, po, sir.
Yes po, sir.
Okay, so that's medyo lengthy yung ating definition. So now, let's proceed now. In your module, there is an assessment there. So I'll be placing again a submission bin there. Meron tayo dito sa module nyo na around isang tanong lang naman. Very similar to what we did here. Okay? So gagawin nyo rin siya and then you will submit it in the Google Classroom. Okay? So yun ang gagawin nyo sa Friday. Okay po?
Yes po.
Okay, now let's proceed now with the next topic. So the next topic, guys, is ito na yung sinasabi ko sa inyo na after the definition na medyo makulit, dun tayo sa mas masaya. Okay? Mapapansin nyo later, itong ginawa nating napakahaba na as in masyadong malaki ang difference. Okay? Masyadong malaki. Okay? So we have the theorems of derivatives. Okay, so first is the first theory is that if we get the derivative of a constant, it will be 0. Okay, tandaan natin na the derivative of constant is 0. So it's actually very connected with your derivatives or of your tangent line. Kapag pinansin nyo, if you remember that the graph of your horizontal line or the graph of a constant function is a horizontal line. So, ang slope then will be 0, kaya ang derivative then ay 0 also. Ito yung pinaka magandang gamitin, that if you have the derivative of a power raised to n, any n, actually n can be any real number. So, the derivative of x to the n will just be, we just bring down, mapapansin niya, binaba ko lang yung n, kinopya ko lang yung previous exponent, and then I subtracted the previous exponent by 1. Okay? And this one will just tell you na kapag ang kinuha natin x, derivative ng x is equal sa 1. Okay? So galing din yan dito na kapag ang n natin ay 1, bring down 1 and then magiging x to the 0 siya, di ba? So x to the 0 is 1, kaya 1 lang dito. Next one is if we get the derivative of a constant multiple. Pag meron kang constant multiple, pwede mo lang siyang ilabas. Okay? Tignan ta kapag multiple siya ng iba. Okay? Yung constant. At constant lang ha. Kapag hindi na yung constant, hindi mo siya basta-basta pwedeng ilabas. Okay? Parang jowa lang yan, di ba? Kapag hindi pa constant jowa, hindi mo pa siya pwedeng ilabas. Okay?
Opo, sir.
Next is kapag meron tayong sum and difference, pwede lang parang sort of i-distribute lang natin yung pag-derivative and then we proceed with addition or subtraction. Okay? Ganun lang. Pero ang medyo masaya dito is the product. Pansinin nyo ang pagkakaiba nitong number 3, number 4, and number 5. Yung sa number 3, constant yung isang factor kaya pwede mo lang ilabas. Pero ito, dahil hindi na constant yung dalawa, pwedeng hindi na constant, notice what they do here is, first is we copy the first factor, kopya lang, as in the same, kopya lang. And then we now multiply with the first factor, yung derivative ng unang factor. And then we copy the second factor, kopya ulit, and then derivative ng unang factor. Take note that there is a plus here. So pwede mo siyang ma-interchange, walang problema. So pwede unahin mo yung second derivative ng first. Pero notice, nagpapalit yung derivative at saka yung factor ha, hindi yung same. Kunwari, factor na to, derivative din niya. Hindi. Yung factor na yon derivative nung kabilang factor. Okay? Malino po. Mamaya mag-example tayo nito. And then number 6 is the quotient rule, wherein if you try to get the derivative of the quotient, by the way, yung sa 4 pala, mapapansin nyo parang nag-distribute, pero dito hindi. Take note, ito yung usual na mali ha. Hindi yan derivative ni u over dx times derivative of v derivative of x. Di ba parang ito, parang pag may derivative ng dalawang pinag-add, i-add lang din natin derivative. Pero notice ito, derivative ng product, hindi natin kinuha yung derivative ng pangalawa, multiply sa derivative ng pangalawa. Di ba hindi? Meron tayong ibang formula. Okay? Same thing with yung sa quotient, iba rin. We copy the denominator, kung ano yung denominator natin, derivative ng numerator, minus. Okay, take note, minus ito, so hindi nyo na pwedeng mapagbaliktad yan. Pag napagbaliktad yan, of course, it will be wrong. Then minus yung numerator, derivative ng denominator, all over, square ng denominator. Tandaan yan ha. Ito yung isang mga lagi nakakalimutan. At ito na pagbabaliktad dito usually, so tandaan nyo itong formula na to. Okay po? Malinaw?
Yes po. Yes po.
Example tayo. Okay, ito. Let's have this first example here. So, ito, pag sasama-samahin natin yung dahil may, mapapasin nyo, may plus, ay, balikan natin yung example natin kanina para matuwa kayo. Okay. Di ba ang f of x plus, f of x natin ay x squared plus, di ba? If you use the theorem kanina, ito sum lang yan, di ba? If you try to get f prime of x, okay, kukunin lang natin derivative ni x squared plus derivative ni 3, right? Tama ba? Dahil sum, so pwedeng isa-isahin lang natin. Ano yung derivative ni x squared? So using theory number 2, yung theorem number 2, di ba parang x to the n yan? So mangyayari, ang n natin dyan ay 2, tapos yung 2 natin, babawasan lang natin ng 1, right? Yun yung theorem number 2 natin. Tama ba? Hello?
Opo.
Okay, and then, ano yung derivative ni 3? Dahil si 3 ay constant, theorem number 1, derivative ng constant ay? Anyone? Yung derivative ng constant? Uy!
3, sir.
Ay, nako. Kung wala man lang nakaalala.
Zero, sir?
Ayun, very good. Zero. Di ba? Zero. Di ba derivative ni constant ay zero. So pag constant yan, derivative niyan ay zero. Ito naman yung una nating ginawa. And we copy the exponent. Di ba ang exponent, di ba galing sa x squared? Ang exponent niyan ay 2. So mangyayari we have 2x to the n which is 2 minus 1. O parang subtract natin si 1. Ang derivative naman ni constant ay 0. Okay, so balikan natin yan. Ito siya, di ba? So magiging 0. Pag sinimplify natin ito, magiging 2 minus 1 is 1, di ba? Parang 2x lang yan, right? Which is
1, sir.
Ganun. So, ganun lang kasimple. If we get the derivative using the theorem ba? So, we have mabilis. Hindi tulad ng ginawa natin dito, just color, di ba? Haba-haba. 2x din lang pala ang kakalabasan.
Haba nga, sir.
Okay, isa pa. Mas ma-appreciate nyo to dun sa isa. Ito naman, di ba, haba-haba natin dito ang lumabas 2x plus 3. Okay? Paano kunin si derivative? So, pag ginawa na si theory, ay ginamit natin si theorems, mangyari, ganun ulit. Derivative ni x squared ay 2x, right? Tama ba? Galing kanina sa unang example. Ito naman, dahil constant to, di ba sabi dun sa theorem number 3, kukopyahin lang natin siya, di ba? And then derivative ni x. Sa theorem 2.1, derivative ni x ay 1, di ba? Minus 5, derivative ni constant ay 0. So, ina yan. So, itong f prime of x natin will just be 2x plus 3, which is ito. Di ba? Malinaw?
Ay po.
sir.
Yes, sir.
Hindi
Opo.
tayo nagmamagic dito.
Opo,
Ha? We just
sir.
follow the...
Madali, sir. Mas madali yan. Mabilis.
Mas mabilis talaga. Meron talagang mabilisan.
Maiksi, sir, pa dito.
Pero gusto niyo ba yung maiksi o yung mahaba?
Opo, sir.
Mahaba naman.
Mahaba sir. Dalawa
Naintindihan ko yung mahaba.
Ikaw, Muhammad.
Pag formula, sir, may
Ikaw,
lang.
haba ba sa'yo o maikli?
Kung ano yung available, sir.
Hindi. Ano ba yung sa'yo? Mahaba o maikli?
Sir, depende
Yung
sa
aking
performance.
Depende sa... Ano ba kayo pinag-usapan natin dito sa derivative? Anong gusto mo? Itong mahaba o yung maikli? Ito kung ano pa mas pinag-iisip nito.
Sa iba na pupunta.
Si Martin, sir.
Sa performance, ibig sabihin yung pag-solve ng problem.
Ano pa nga ba pinag-uusapan natin dito? Kayo ko na nung naiisip nyo. Yung mahaba o yung maikli? Di ba mas madali yung maikli, di ba?
Opo, sir, maikli.
Opo, sir, maikli.
So, Miss Malonzo, mas gusto mo yung maikli.
Oo naman, sir, kasi mas mapapabilis yung yung pag-solve ng
Wala
Pero
yun.
wag, mahirap yun.
Sige, bilisan natin. Kunwari ito, how do we get the derivative? Okay.
Mahirap mong shortcut, sir.
Yari.
Okay, so mangyari, to get the derivative here, di ba, constant ito. So, constant times something, di ba? So, open natin si constant, derivative nito, kung minus ito, so kung i-copy the minus, and then derivative ito, x to the n lang ulit yan. And then, constant. So, ito yung magiging kakalabasan yan, di ba? So, we copy the constant, derivative ni x squared ay 2x, we copied minus, n. Ito yung n. Ito yung n minus 1 natin. Di ba? Negative 4 minus 1, kaya negative 5. Take na tayo sa pag-subtract ng signs, ha? And then, ito naman derivative ng constant, kaya 0. So, if we try to simplify this, so this will just be 6x plus 4x to the negative 5. Okay? Question?
None.
None, sir.
Okay, isa pa.
Sir.
Ito naman, ano naman to? Okay, so practicein natin si ito pag radicals, di ba pwede natin siya isulat into exponent. So ganun din, take note si x to the n, yung theorem number 2 natin, pwede siyang gamitin, kanina ginamit natin na positive. Ngayon, ginamit naman natin kapag ang n natin ay negative 4 or negative. Ito naman, paano kapag fraction? Pwede pa rin natin siyang magamit, actually, even pag positive pa rin dito. So, using our theorem number 2, so ito lang nakakalabasan, di ba? So, we have 7, binaba, kaya x to the 6 kasi 7 minus 1, kaya naging 6. Ito naman, negative 2/3 kasi 1/3 minus 1 ay 2/3, ay negative 2/3. Okay? Can you follow?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir.
Okay, let's have another example.
Sir, wait lang po. Paano po nakakuha yung negative 2/3?
Sabi ko na nga ba, ready na ako dyan. Ayan, no? Di ba? So, fraction lang iho. Paano tayo mag-subtract ng fraction? Okay? Malinaw po ba yan?
Yes, po.
Okay, let's have the next example. Okay. Dito tayo. Oh. So, notice, product rule naman na to. So, let's use theorem number 5. So, product rule, sabi si product rule, ang gagawin natin, parang ito yung unang factor, ito si u, di ba? Ito si v. So, kunin natin si u prime or du over dv. We get the derivative of the first factor, so that would be what? Ang derivative na x squared, guys?
2x, sir.
Okay, very good. Derivative ni negative 2x. Uy, or minus derivative ni 2x. Ano derivative ni x? 1. So, matitira na lang dyan ay 2. Di ba? 2 times 1. And derivative ni 5 ay
0.
0. Next, derivative naman tayo nung pangalawa, dv over dx. Ang derivative ni 7x squared.
Yellow, 5 raw.
Limang ano? Oh, ano derivative ni 7x squared?
3.
Di ba? Kopyahin si 7 times yung exponent. So that will be 14, di ba? 14,
14x.
14x. And then derivative ni 3x ay 3. Right?
Right.
Okay, so paano natin kunin si derivative nito? So pag ginawa ng derivative ni y with respect to x, we copy the first factor, derivative, ito yung u, di ba? Ito yung u, ito yung derivative nung pangalawa. Ito si pangalawa, derivative nung una. Okay?
Sir, wait po, may question po ako.
Sige.
Doon po sa may yung sa may 14x plus 3 po.
Mhm.
Paano po naging positive 3 yun? Hindi po ba sa inside of yung field sa isang negative 2x po?
Plus kasi ito iha, di ba? Plus. Okay, so open lang natin yung plus. Derivative ni 3x ay 3. Kaya plus 3.
Okay po, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Si negative 1 kasi derivative ni negative 1, 0. So, parang minus 0 lang yan. Hindi ko na sinulat. Okay.
Pinagbaliktad lang po, sir.
Alin ang pinagbaligtad?
Yung pong kuwan, yung 2x minus 2, saka po yung 14x plus 3.
Di ba ito hindi to pinagbaliktad ha? Technically, sinundan lang natin yung theorem number 5 natin, di ba? So we copy the first factor, derivative nung pangalawa. Parang ganun na rin. Ang i-pair natin dun sa multiplication ay yung kabilang derivative. Okay? Yung derivative nung una, i-pair mo dun sa pangalawa. Derivative naman ng pangalawa, i-pair mo dun sa una. And then you add. Okay?
Okay po, sir.
Yan. So, pwede nyo na siyang i-expand kung gusto nyo. Or if, kapag nakalagay sa instruction na you simplify. Kunwari, nakalagay, di-simplify na lang natin. So, ito mahaba-haba ito. So, magiging 14x cubed and then plus 3x squared minus 28. Nakakasunod ba? X squared. Ito, algebra na lang ito ha. And then minus 6x. Makaman pa ako dito plus 50, 70x. Okay, and then plus 15. Nakakasunod? So, parang expanded FOIL method lang to ha.
Opo, sir.
And then plus 14x cubed. Ano tayo sa pangalawa? And then
Negative 25.
14x squared. And then next is 6x. Tayo sa plus 6x. Ay, sorry. 6x squared pala. Plus 6x squared. And then minus 6x. And then finally, we have negative 2x. And then plus 2. So magiging 28x cubed. Tapos ito ay negative 11x squared. And then minus 22x. Ay, sorry, ba't puro x squared to? Ano, simplify na natin siya. Sorry naman, isabay na natin. Okay, pinag-add ko pa itong one pwede naman natin simplify natin to. Sabayin ko na ha. Sige, wag na nga lang. So, negative 12x minus 68x plus 17. Simplify pa natin, 28, sorry. Wala ng tinta. 28x cubed minus 33x squared and then minus 80x plus 17. Ayun. So, tapos na tayo. Okay? Malinaw?
Yes po.
Opo, sir. Okay na po, sir.
Okay, so isa naman tayo sa quotient rule naman tayo. So theorem number 6. So sa theorem number 6, ganun ulit. So we try to identify the numerator and then the denominator. We get the derivative of both. So kunin natin derivative ni u, matitira dito ay, di ba derivative ng constant ay 1 minus 2, derivative ni y ay 1, kaya naging negative 2 na lang to. Okay? And then derivative ni v or v prime, call it v prime also, will just be 2y. Derivative ni 4 ay 0, kaya wala na siya. Malinaw?
Opo, sir.
Okay, so to get z prime or the derivative of this, we just follow the formula ulit, di ba? Copy, ito yung v. This is your v, this is your u prime, this is your u, this is your v prime, and this is your v squared. Okay? Malinaw?
Opo.
Okay,
Yes po.
then we just simplify. So, yan. Expand lang yan. So, we have this. Okay? Question? May tanong, naintindihan po ba malinaw?
Naintindihan naman po.
Opo, sir.
Opo, sir.
Hindi naman.
Medyo lang, sir.
Yan naman si Medyo. Ang kulit-kulit ang buha ka ng inong. Walang medyo sa atin. Ang ibig sabihin ng medyo ay pa-cute na hindi. Okay?
Bakit na hindi?
Sir, paano pala po nakuha yung negative 2y squared?
Negative.
Ano?
y squared.
Negative 2 tapos y squared, sir, tama ba?
Kaya nga po, sir, yung y, ano,
Multiply lang
Method
siya.
lang po.
Ito ba?
2y.
Ayan. Dapat nagtatanong kasi para. Itong negative 2y squared na to, ito? This one?
Yes, sir.
Multiply
Sir.
lang. Ito,
Yes, sir.
multiply. Negative 2
Multiply lang
times
po,
y
sir.
squared, negative 2y. Ganun din. Negative 2 times 4, then negative 8. Yun na lang yun. 1 times 2y times negative, yan, negative 2y squared. Ay, negative 2y pala, sorry.
Gets na po, sir.
Ito siya.
Kaya po, sir.
Okay, tapos combine like terms. Okay? Question? Question pa more? Wala na?
Wala na po.
Wala na po, sir.
Ayun. So,
Wala na po.
so ang next nating activity, guys, is gusto niyo pa ba? Parang nagreklamo na si Frank.
Sir, ba't
I think that's it, guys. So, ang gagawin niyo na lang is you try to look into the module tapos mag-solve kayo dito. Madami-dami itong example dito. Try to look into the examples and then try to solve the other examples there. Tapos discuss natin next meeting. Okay, wala nga pala ditong product rule po pala. Oh. Ay, ito. Nasa module 5. Andun si product rule and quotient rule. Okay, so yun ang magiging gagawin niyo. So, for next week, we'll proceed more with the examples. Pakisolve yung mga nasa module natin and then maglalagay ulit ako ng submission bin sa G-Classroom natin. Yes, Frank.
Sir, yung mga exercise din, di ba pwede ho yung sagutan? Sir, ano yan, pwedeng ipacheck sa inyo kung tama. Halimbawa kasi, mali pala kami dun. May mali pala dun.
Tama, okay lang yun, syempre. Kaya nga tayo na andito eh. I would
Sige, sir.
appreciate yung mga nagtatanong, ha. Pero wag namang mga alas 11 na ng gabi o kaya alas 2 na
Hindi, sir, yung ano lang, yung time limit lang natin na ano, 6 to 8.
Yung 8 to 8 lang tayo,
6 to 8,
ha.
sir. 8 to 8 pala.
Wag naman 6. Naliligo pa lang ako, nag-breakfast pa lang ako, na-istorbohin mo na agad ako. So 8 to 8 lang, sige, you can always ask. Okay? Minsan nga may nagtatanong mga alas 9, sige, gising pero patulog na rin ako noon eh. Okay, so again, kapag may tanong, huwag kayong mahihiya. Kaya nga tayo may GC. Meron, yun ang kagandaan dito, open yung GC natin, open yung Messenger. Even sa ating G-Classroom, you can always right there. You can, sa stream, pwede kayong mag-post doon kung meron kayong tanong. Okay? Pero ang pinakamabilis is PM nyo na lang ako or send nyo sa GC. Malay nyo, pare-pares pala kayo ng tanong, nagkakahiyaan lang, di ba? So don't be shy to ask. Lagi nyo tatandaan si Susan Roses, ha?
May right med pala yun, sir.
Ang magnakaw ay kapatid ng sinungaling. Iba pala.
Sir, assessment lang po ba yung mga sasagutan?
Lahat mas maganda sasagutan nyo lahat para makapag-practice kayo. Okay? Kasi kapag hindi nyo sinagutan nyo at assessment lang, edi pwedeng mamali kayo na hindi pa pala kayo sure, di ba? Para maging sure tayo lahat, lalo na ang tandaan natin ha, ang ginigradean ko lang is yung assessment and then yung mga quizzes and then everything. Yung ibang mga exercise hindi ko ginigradean para mapag-practicean nyo. Okay? Para pwede kayong, kasi yung sa quiz natin, hindi na ako hindi ko na pwedeng sagutin yun kasi unless sasagutan natin sa klase tapos na siya. Pero kapag may tanong kayo regarding the assessment, hindi ko pwedeng sagutin kasi siyempre mafo-forfeit yung assessment process. Diba? Pero yung mga exercise, you can always ask. Okay? Kasi magkamukha lang din naman yun eh. So, better ask na dun sa assessment, ay dun sa exercise para meron kayong guide pa rin in solving for the assessment.
Sir, paano po pag nasortahan nyo, yung tanong sa exercise, hindi nyo sa assessment, tapos nasagot nyo?
Okay. Eh di wow. O diba? Yun yung swerte. Minsan nga, or hindi lang talaga swerte. Minsan, kinuha ko talaga, pumipili ako ng mga exercise, sa mga exercise, yun din ang pinapa-exam ko. Para sure ako talaga na sinasagutan nyo siya. or para din magsagot talaga kayo. Kasi baka isipin nyo, lahat ng binibigay ko out of the blue, di ba? Pwede namang galing lang pala dyan. Yung iba naiinis kasi andun lang pala yung mga exam ni sir, ba't hindi ko pa ito sinagutan dati. Okay? Kung lang tayo, konting tiyaga lang talaga. Okay? So, kung wala na, off ko na yung recording.
Wait lang po, sir, may tanong pa. Yang wala po bang kuwan, pinakamadaling solusyon?
Break up.
Oo, makipaghiwalay ka na lang para tapos na agad. Charot.
Sumuko ka na agad.
Sabi sa'yo eh.
Joke lang. Hindi, ang pinakamadali dyan ay mag-practice kayo na mag-practice. Okay? Mahirap, lahat naman ng bagay, as I've always been saying, lahat ng bagay ay mahirap sa unang beses. Pero pag na-try nyo na na-try yan, and then you practice, lalo sa math, if you practice a lot, madali lang yan. Kailangan nyo lang pag-practicean. Walang bagay na hindi na pagpa-practicean. Tandaan nyo yan. Okay ba yan?
Tama po, sir.
Oo nga, tama yan.
Perfect.
Kaya nga, mapapansin nyo yung assessment, 1, 2 tanong. Pero yung exercise, napakarami. 10, 5, di ba? Pero yung assessment, 1 lang. Kasi dapat mas madami yung practice. Kasi hindi nyo makukuha siya ng pa-isa-isa lang. May mga iba-iba tayong mga classmate na isang beses lang naiintindihan na. Pero wag nating isipin na dahil doon ay masyado na tayong kakaiba. Actually, hindi. Kilimitan na. Kahit ako minsan, hindi ko naman siya agad nakukuha sa isang beses. Kailangan ko pa ng iba pa. So, I have to practice. Mukha lang akong magaling kasi I was a few years earlier than you. Yung mga yan, napag-practicean ko na yan. Kaya mukha lang madali sa akin. Pero bigyan niyo ako ng medyo kakaiba. Siyempre, nagugulat pa rin ako. Pero dahil dun sa experience at sa pag-practice na ginawa ko, nagagawa ko naman sila lahat. Okay, ganun lang yan. Okay? So, practice lang ha. Huwag mahiya. Or huwag tamarin. Parang ML lang yan, di ba? Paano kayo umabot ng mythical glory? Hindi niyo naman yan nagawa sa isang game lang, di ba? Ilang game yun?
Si Frank po.
Nagpapabuhat po.
Ikaw parang wala.
Hindi po naka...
Teka, sir.
Pinakamababa?
10K, 1K.
Hindi ako naglalaro nun, sir.
Ano yung Frank pinakamababa sa ML?
Bas,
Elite.
Warrior.
Weak po, weak.
Warrior.
Warrior.
Ang gagaling. Pag sa ML, ang dami
Pero di ba alam nila?
Pero pag kanina tatanong ko, is it understood? Ba?
Rookie.
Diba? Rookie ba? May rookie ba?
Sakod po.
Kunwari ganun, di ba? Hindi naman sa unang laro mo, mythical glory ka na agad, di ba? Hindi naman. Paunti-unti.
Hindi.
Hindi naman basta-basta agad na
Sir.
angat na ganun.
Kaya nga po, sir. Kaso di ko po alam yung ML eh.
Wow, charot.
Pares tayo.
Farm bill lang, sir.
Pares tayo, farm bill. Pares tayo, brother.
Tayo, tigil na nga natin tong recording.
Versus Zombie.